All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's a Monday night. What's in your cabinet? It's time for the Urban Conservative Podcast. Let's go.
Like NASCAR? Do you like a Tribe Called Quest? Well, you gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Do you like manwich and nachos? Well, then you'd love the Urban Conservative.
Do you like guns? Do you like butter? Well, you're gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Yo, what's good, son? You like pit bulls, say? You like solving Sudoku puzzles? Then you gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Hey, buddy, if your car making a sound like this, you might want to get you some power steering fluid and check out the Urban Conservative Podcast.
Are you repulsed by the idea of drag queen story time at your local library, but enjoy Carol Baskin TikTok memes? Then you would enjoy the Urban Conservative.
Do you want to slap your boss and then go home and make yourself some golden brown pancakes covered in butter and freshly made warm boysenberry syrup? Then you'll love the Urban Conservative.
If you're a little over Cardi B and you're repulsed by the thought of Hogmaw, check out the Urban Conservative. You ready? If you think the earth is flat and always on that weird side of YouTube, check out the Urban Conservative. They'll set you straight.
If you're in a chasing dopey and you love Saltfish and the festival, check out the Urban Conservative.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. It's a Monday night. That means it's time for the Urban Conservative Podcast. Yours truly, Abdul Ali, one half of the TUC Twins, rocking with you on this wonderful Monday night. If this is your first time here, we are the Urban Conservative. Our goal is to share conservative values and principles, as well as the benefits of conservative policies to urban communities across this great, amazing, and wonderful nation of ours. You can support that mission by visiting tuconservative.com. You see the website scrolling across the bottom of your screen. Hope all is well with you and yours tonight. Got a great show lined up. We're going to be talking a little bit about what's going on with Trump's cabinet picks and all that good stuff. A couple of things we want to, let me see if I can find this. I was supposed to be prepared a little bit better, but I did want to plug an event that's going down at the Marketplace Restaurant. Let me go ahead and share this tab with you all. So our good friends out in Moore County at the Marketplace Restaurant are hosting an event. We want you all to come out, participate, be a part of the discussion if you live out there in Moore County. It's called Moore County Let's Talk. It's going down this Wednesday, the 20th, from 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. at the Marketplace. We're going to be gathering for an open, respectful conversation, no screens, just real people sharing real opinions. I'm honored to be a part of that. So shouts out to my man Luke and the whole crew over at the Marketplace Restaurant. We're looking forward. We're actually going to carry that discussion live right here on the Urban Conservative. So big up to Luke and the whole team over at the Marketplace Restaurant. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is interesting. It is, you would think that people on the left in the media would have learned their lesson by now. You would think after the results of this year's election, after Tuesday, November the 5th, you would think after all of that the left would learn their lessons and stop with the Trump derangement syndrome stuff. You would think that would be the case, and you would be 1,000% incorrect. They have not learned. They are continuing with it. And part of the reason why they are continuing with it is because Trump has already started outlining some of his picks to be in his cabinet. Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk. We're going to talk about a whole lot of that coming up here on the show. But one of the things we want to make sure we do is give you all an opportunity to chime in. So if you have a question, comment, let us know. Jump in the comment section. Here's the thing. When you look at what Washington, D.C. has been for the last 30 years, what you're going to find is that there's a level of entrenchment that certain bureaucrats and politicians have had in Washington, D.C. And I think Trump has recognized that since his last foray into presidentness, that he picked the wrong people the first go round, right? He didn't pick the right folks. I don't think he recognized the importance of getting people that are outside of the swamp into position to do some things. And this time around, oh boy, has he gone and picked some of the right ones. Let's start out talking about his pick for White House Chief of Staff, a lady named Susie Wiles, okay? Now, Susie Wiles is an American political consultant. She was the co-chair of the 2024 Trump campaign. She worked on his 2016 campaign, as well as Ronald Reagan's 1980 campaign. She was chosen by President-elect Trump to serve as the 32nd and first female in history White House Chief of Staff. She's set to begin in January 2025. Again, first woman to hold the position. Now, this is not a lightweight when we talk about Susie Wiles. We're talking about somebody who's been in the game since 79, working with Jack Kemp, Ronald Reagan, John Delaney, who was serving as mayor of Jacksonville. She also did some work for U.S. House Rep Tilly Fowler. From 04 to 09, she was advising the mayor of Jacksonville, John Payton. She worked on Rick Scott's gubernatorial campaign. She helped get Rick Scott elected. She's considered an outsider. And I know you're going to go, well, wait a minute. How is she an outsider? Because she's not been a part of the swampy political. She stayed on the campaign side. So first pick you've got is Susie Wiles, who will be White House Chief of Staff. Now, this next pick was something I found interesting, and that is Marco Rubio for Secretary of State. Okay, that is an interesting pick to me. Let's if you don't know who Marco Rubio is, he's serving as a senior senator from Florida. He's been in the Senate since 2011. He served as Speaker of the Florida House from 06 to 08. He unsuccessfully sought the nomination for president in 2016, but won primaries in Minnesota, DC, and in Puerto Rico. He's of Cuban American from Miami, served as a city commissioner for West Miami in the 90s, elected to represent the 111th district in the Florida House of Representatives, subsequently elected Speaker of the House from Florida. Now, here's the thing, right? Marco Rubio has not always been on board with Trump. Marco Rubio, I think, is one of those picks that was a safe pick for Donald Trump. And you might go, well, what do you mean a safe pick? Well, it's kind of like one of those 48 laws of powers type thing. You know, it's one of those situations, I think, where you have somebody who's going to do the job because they know without a shadow of a doubt, once you get picked for the job and you leave that job, you're no longer in the Senate, your entire career is essentially in the hands of President Trump. So I think Marco Rubio is a safe pick for Trump. Let me see if I can find the video. There was a video of Marco Rubio talking about his position on Israel. Oh, hold on a second. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Here you go. Hold on. I think I found it. Hold on. Let's give this a share. Let's see what Marco Rubio had to say. Y'all check this out. Hold on. Here we go.
I will not. On the contrary. Are you filming it? So I want you guys to get this. I want them to destroy every element of Hamas they can get their hands on. These people are vicious animals who did horrifying crimes. And I hope you guys post that.
And what about the civilians that are being killed every day?
Hamas should stop hiding behind civilians, putting civilians in the way. Hamas knew that this was going to lead to this. So Hamas should stop building their military installations underneath hospitals.
So you don't care that 15,000 have died? You don't care about the babies that are being killed every day?
Horrifying. I think it's terrible, and I think Hamas is 100% to blame. That's what I think. Make sure you post that, please.
So
there you go. Marco Rubio set to be the next Secretary of State, ladies and gentlemen. That is the second pick. Attorney General, he has gone on to pick this guy. Okay. Matt Gaetz is going to be. We're going to take a quick commercial break because this one we're going to have to get into a little bit. You're checking out the Urban Conservative Podcast on a Monday night. We talking about what's in your cabinet. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back here on the Urban Conservative. This season of the Urban Conservative Podcast is brought to you by Newton for Senate, working to improve education, reduce taxes, and keep North Carolina #1 for business. Find out more at newtonforsenate.com. This episode of the Urban Conservative has also been sponsored by Case Technology Consulting. Help your business get value out of its data and become more efficient and streamlined. Case Technology Consulting. Check out the link in the description. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're back on the Urban Conservative Podcast. Monday night. Okay. We're talking about Trump's picks. This is going to be really interesting. Yes, sir. We can hear you. Raheem, the architect Soto, is on the check-in. What's good, bro?
Yeah, I'm in the building. All right, just walked in the door. Happy Monday night, everybody. Hope everyone's doing good. Sorry for the late intro. I see we already a segment in, so carry on, sir. Carry on. I'll play catch up.
So we just got to the point of talking about Matt Gaetz being selected to be the next Attorney General of the United States. Now, there's going to be some talk about the allegations, which, as far as I know, have been dropped. I don't know that Matt Gaetz, I couldn't find anywhere where Matt Gaetz had been charged with a crime of any kind. I don't know that he's been charged with anything. I know there's been accusations, but in this country, you are innocent until you are proven guilty in a court of law. And as far as I know, Matt Gaetz has not been found guilty of anything in a court of law. I think that this was an interesting pick for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons I think is because a lot of the Senate Republicans don't like Matt Gaetz. And what are you talking about, Ali? What do you mean, Senate Republicans? So this being reported by NBC News that more than half of Senate Republicans, including some in senior leadership positions, privately say they don't see a path for former Rep. Matt Gaetz to be confirmed as Attorney General and would not support him to lead the Department of Justice, probably because your asses is about to get investigated. Right now, there's some things that Donald Trump can do. Hold on. There's some things that Trump can do. Hold on. There you go. So can Trump appoint Matt Gaetz without Senate confirmation is the question. President-elect.
We're going to talk about recess appointments.
Yeah. So the fact of the matter is, for Trump to make recess appointments, the Senate would have to agree through a simple majority vote to go on recess for 10 days. The House must also agree to allow the Senate to adjourn, but Chavez says if the House does not agree, or if it disagrees with the Senate on the length of adjournment, then the president has the constitutional power to adjourn both chambers for a time frame of his choosing. Here you go, buddy. The other thing is he can appoint him as the Attorney General for subsequent 210-day periods. And I think the problem that you're going to have with a lot of the establishment folks that don't want to see Matt Gaetz as the Attorney General is he has been known to hold both Democrats and Republicans' feet to the fire, especially when it comes to this whole idea of insider trading.
Now, let me ask you this question. What do we say about the people that think Matt Gaetz is part of this? I'll use the term a little further right, part of the Republican Party. You understand what I'm saying? Like I've heard people describe Gaetz as on the loony bin side of things. Like, yo, the guy's absolutely insane. Like, do you get that vibe from him?
Nah, I'll tell you, I had an opportunity, as you can see in the picture, to spend a few minutes with him. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I know Matt Gaetz, but 8 to 10 minutes that I had to spend talking to him and asking questions. And this was right around the time of the speaker, John, the recall of the speaker incident. What I think the problem is that he understands what the purpose of a congressman is. He understands the original intent of what the framers and founders of this Constitution wanted the Congress to represent. And the fact of the matter is, when you have people doing insider trading and all that kind of stuff, they don't like that. I don't get this. He's not, I don't believe he is what they would call, right, super hard right winger. I think he's a common sense representative that wants to make sure that the people in Congress are doing their job.
That's just what the sentiment has been from some of the more center-leaning, like dead center-leaning people. He's come off like a little bit abrasive to them. You know what I mean? Respectfully. I don't agree with it, but it's just something that I've heard about Gates. What other appointments have you discussed?
Hold on. Look at this. You see my screen? Hold on.
To take us on a tour.
So one of the committees where people have a lot of information is the Appropriations Committee, because they can view almost any vector of government funding. And so, this is Mr. Rutherford's office. He's on the Ethics Committee and the Appropriations Committee. 152 stock trades.
This is why they don't like that guy, bro.
Let's go through the roof. And, actually bought Raytheon stock the day that Russia invaded Ukraine.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, imagine if every American could make money off of war.
Yeah, setting aside the whole shame and ethics questions. How many more on our hit list here?
There are a few more. I wish there were fewer on the hit list. I wish we could only stop at 1 or 2 offices, but as it turns out, energy is a sector that sees a lot of congressional stock trading.
Sure.
And we have members who are on the Energy Subcommittee of Appropriations, like Michael Guest, chairman of the Ethics Committee, and he's traded somewhere between tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars in energy stocks. He's been buying online gaming stocks and just making a killing on them. So you would think that the people that were on the Ethics Committee would be your best allies in this fight, but indeed they're some of the most prolific traders. And not only...
Come on, bro. That's why they don't want Matt Gaetz in there, ladies and gentlemen. That is exactly why the establishment is in absolute panic mode under the idea that you're going to get a Congressman Matt Gaetz as the Attorney General of the United States, because there's a lot of shenanigans going on. Huh?
So they're a little worried about that there, are they?
I think they were. If you were insider stock trading and you were in Congress, wouldn't you be just slightly worried about it? A guy like that is willing to put up the motion to vacate the speaker, that's serious business, bro. That is a very serious thing. So you've got Matt Gaetz going in for Attorney General, and let's see what the next appointment is. Hold on.
Did you talk about the EPA yet?
No, we're gonna get there.
Okay.
HHS. We're at HHS. Okay. Health and Human Services. Secretary Robert F. Kennedy.
Wow.
Thoughts, bro? What do you think about the Kennedy appointment?
So I was a little concerned at first, right? Just a little concerned about that because, and I'll be honest with you, the reason I was a little concerned was that sometimes people can be so hardcore on an idea as to not be aware of when that idea it doesn't work, right? And when it comes to the V word, the vaccinations, the vaccines and vaccinations, I heard him say several things, and albeit maybe not in full context, but I've heard certain statements that had me a bit concerned about his understanding of certain things, of certain biological, scientific areas of conversation. And then I hear other things that he say where he's absolutely correct. So I think it's an interesting pick. I think it's a victory for the people who have concerns about the effects of vaccines and the impact that vaccinations of all sorts have had on the health of the country. I think that's a very interesting appointment for that reason alone. I like the idea of banning some of the food additives that have been banned in other countries. I like the idea of having someone that runs HHS that practices health and human services. I like that idea. You see him working out, for his age. I'm not going to say he's a specimen, but he doesn't look bad for his age. He looks like he takes care of himself. And, I think it's a good pick. I honestly think it's a good pick. Now, the fallout from this is going to be, obviously, everybody should know that the left is going to find anything to make all of these people look bad, including Kennedy.
All right. One thing real quick. So I was just listening to something earlier, and Kennedy they were talking about the vaccines and all of that. And he said, yo, what I wanted was the placebo, whatever trials.
Testing. All I want is those results and that testing, and I want to hold vaccine companies to the same standard. That doesn't sound like a lot to ask for, but it is.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm seeing this the way you're seeing this. I thought that was like, okay, not a lot to ask for, but kind of is, but I get where you're going with that. So you've got, we've talked about the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. We've talked about Attorney General. We've talked about Susan Wiles. Next up on the list is UN Ambassador Elise Stefanik. So what do you chalk that up to?
Take a picture with her.
Hold on, bro. You're talking about yeah, I did take a picture with Elise Stefanik. I did.
Did you post it?
I think I did. You want me to see if I can find it? Because I was just hold on.
It would be nice to have the picture up of the person we're talking about. It would.
Okay. Well, hold that thought. So Elise Stefanik is out of New York, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
My personal opinion, bro. My personal opinion is I think all the works that she's done, she deserved. Because, okay, how serious is the UN ambassador thing now?
Okay, I think that's extremely important for our international affairs. I think that a point that right there sends a very strong signal, because she's very America first, very good politician, very good congresswoman, and I think that was a great pick for that. But I think that position it uniquely sets the tone for what's going to happen with this administration, relating to geopolitical issues and conflicts and things of that nature. I think she's going to do well in the position.
Okay, so what I'm going to do here is just real quick, just for those who don't know, she's a U.S. House rep for New York's 21st Congressional District. She was the chair of the House Republican Conference since 2021, fourth ranking House Republican. Her district covers most of the North Country and the Adirondack Mountains, some of the outer suburbs of Utica and the Capital District. In addition to being the first woman to occupy her House seat, Stefanik was 30 when she was first elected to the House in 2014, making her the youngest woman ever elected to Congress. She was elected as a moderate conservative and has, this is Wikipedia, saying that she's moved to the right and has aligned herself with President Trump during his first term. She strongly opposed the first impeachment in 2019 amid the Ukraine scandal and backed Trump's attempts to, all right, I'm not even reading that. Anyway, she is known for her pro-Israel beliefs. She gained national attention in December of 2023 for her questioning of university presidents during a widely televised congressional hearing on anti-Semitism. So I think UN post for a young lady that accomplished is not a bad look at all.
No, okay. Not at all. I don't see how that could be a bad look. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, I don't see how that could be a bad look.
All right. So I gotta say, this next guy, right, that we're gonna talk about has been appointed as Trump's border czar. Okay. Now the thing about Tom Homan, I do not have a picture with Tom Homan, by the way, if you were gonna ask me that. But I think that, and we don't even have to beat the dead horse on this one, because we know Tom Homan is about to do serious work. The information just came out today. They said Trump is going to use the military to deport violent illegal aliens out of the country. I'm all in favor of that. I think the United States government was given a mandate by the people. They don't want violent, illegal criminals, illegal aliens in our country. And I think Tom Homan's the right guy to get that job done, bro. I don't think Tom Homan's going to play around.
I don't think he's going to play around especially from a personnel standpoint, right? If you don't want to do the job that we're asking you to do, you can go. And I think that kind of leadership is what's needed at this point, because honestly, whatever number the media puts out about the amount of illegal migrants that are here and those that possess those with the criminal intent, that number could be well over 1 million people. The estimates that I've heard are all over the place, but you're talking about, this is not something that local police departments are going to be able to handle. They've barely been able to handle a lot of the crime that's been happening. So, will they coordinate with them? Sure, but I think that was a great pick in so much as that he will rally the troops. He will bring the morale up of the border agents, of the people that work there, because the morale has been damaged. This last administration has done a great job of handcuffing our border patrol, our border security. They've some things that I've seen said that this has to be contrived, right? Like, there's no accidental way that this could happen, that this has to have been a contrived idea based on the statistics that are being presented, like the increases in the blah blah blah, like all of those. And then we see the recall of Title 43 or Title 42, whichever title that was taken down, that executive order. And so we have to say that is a wonderful pick for HHS. For the border czar, rather. I think that's a great pick, man, and I think he's going to do a lot of good stuff there. Time will definitely tell.
All right, I just gotta play this one Tom Homan clip real quick, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who we talking about, this is the guy we're talking about right here.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is it worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
We have seen one estimate that says...
That is right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are checking out. It's Monday night. You're checking out the Urban Conservative Podcast. We're talking about what's in your cabinet. We're taking a look at the up-to-date picks that President Trump, soon to be number 47, is putting in place.
If you have alternative picks, let us know, right? Like, if you have somebody else that you would have rather seen as picked for attorney general, or somebody picked for the border czar, or somebody picked for some other office, get in the comment section. Let us know who your picks would have been. We'd love to know.
All right. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're coming right back. Don't go nowhere. Doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is a Monday evening. You are checking out the Urban Conservative Podcast. We are talking about Trump's picks for his cabinet, and so far so good. We have gotten to the point where we are going to be talking about his pick for Secretary of Defense. We have one gentleman by the name of Pete Hegseth. Now, have you heard, bro, all of the ruckus about this pick for Secretary of Defense? People saying he's not qualified. Have you heard all of this?
Yeah, I've heard it, and I heard the people on The View putting their fat feet in their mouth when it comes to this guy, because it's like, what qualification did he? And it's like, oh, y'all need to see some stats. Go ahead, do the stats. Go ahead, bro.
All right, you ready?
Go ahead.
Oh, there to go. Hold on, I'm doing it right now. Hegseth, American television presenter, author, National Guard officer, announced as nominee for U.S. Secretary of Defense in the upcoming Trump administration. Hegseth has been active in Republican politics since undergraduate days at Princeton. In 2016, he emerged as a supporter of Trump's candidacy and served as an occasional advisor throughout the latter term of the president's term. He reportedly persuaded Trump to pardon 3 American soldiers convicted of war crimes relating to the shooting of non-combatants. Hegseth, who was a platoon leader at Guantanamo Bay. Yo. During his military service, defended the treatment of inmates detained there. He was considered to lead the United States Department of Veterans Affairs in the first administration, but David Shokin was tapped instead. In 2024, he announced that he intended to nominate him as Secretary of Defense. After graduating from Princeton in 2003, he joined Bear Stearns as an equity capital markets analyst and was commissioned as an infantry officer in the Minnesota National Guard. In 2004, his unit was called to Guantanamo Bay Naval Base under the operational control of the 3rd Battalion, 187th Infantry Regiment on the 101st Airborne Division, where he served as an infantry platoon leader and was awarded the Army Commendation Medal. Shortly after returning from Cuba, he volunteered to serve in Baghdad and Samarra, Iraq, where he served first as an infantry platoon leader and later as civil military operations officer. During his time in Iraq, he was awarded a Bronze Star Medal, Combat Infantry Badge, and a Second Army Commendation Medal. So this is somebody, not like Tim Walz, who actually served active duty in a war zone. This is somebody that knows exactly what is at stake by being on the front line. Hegseth returned to active duty in 2012 as a captain, deployed to Afghanistan with the Minnesota Army National Guard, and acted as senior counterinsurgency instructor at the Counterinsurgency Training Center in Kabul. So this is a guy that is the real deal. When you talk about wanting somebody for Secretary of Defense, you really want somebody that knows what the soldiers are facing. So I think this was a very
All right, we lost Ali there. Not sure what's going on with you, bruh.
Do you have me back?
All right, yeah, you just jumped back in. Gotcha. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Okay. So no, great pick. I just think that was a really good pick because the guy knows firsthand what it's like to be in a war zone. Not like Tim Walz.
Gotcha.
Actually carrying weapons of war.
Let's move on to this next pick. I don't know if you did this. The EPA. Did you do EPA already?
EPA advisor is going to be EPA administrator. I know you're excited about this. You just itching for the EPA, bro. It's just EPA. That's why you wanted EPA. Yeah. Shouts out to Lee Zeldin, the next administrator of the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. I thought you did a good job of explaining to me why Lee Zeldin was a good pick. Share that with the folks.
Okay. So I know it sounds a little crazy, right? Like, well, he's known as an attorney, and very staunch Trump supporter, was part of the Trump defense team, and I can't remember which of the many lawfare attacks against the president, but he was part of a defense team with that stuff. And congressman for my district, okay, here in New York, that seat is currently held by Nick LaLota, Congressman Nick LaLota. And obviously previously held by this gentleman, Lee Zeldin, former Republican candidate for the office of New York State governor. Now, the interesting thing, and the reason I think this is a good pick, is because the districts that he had under his, the congressional district encompasses a very broad cross-section of American life, meaning like the different aspects of our environment. So here we obviously have a coastal area to deal with, right? We have ports that we have to deal with here. We have farmland that we have to deal with. We have what we call urban sprawl. We have growth here, development issues here. We have different industries here, from the wine industry to the milk industry to the potato industry. All of these things are on the east end of Long Island. So it is a good if you want to learn how to deal with coastal resiliency, energy production, literally environmental protection, what better place than the East End? Somebody from the East End, where we have a issue with environmental issues. We have these issues here. Something that people don't think about is the importance of shellfish in your water, in your bodies of water. People don't realize how much oysters and clams clean up the water, and certain types of grass, how important they are to our waterways, and blah, blah, blah. So I think it's a good pick because he has the experience in dealing with in a bipartisan manner, may I add, because his counterpart it was Fred Thiel, who's done great things for the East End, Democrat, but still has done great things for the East End. Not a seat that we could flip this time, here on the East End. But like I said, Lee, in my opinion, is a great pick because he's dealt with, the issues that, a fair amount of the issues that the EPA deals with. So I think it was a very good pick for that reason alone. And he's a fast learner. He has good people around him. So I think he'll do great there in fighting for, American energy and making sure that things get done correctly and in a sustainable manner, something that we've seen him, deal with here on the East End. And he's been a good guy in that. And I have to say, Nick LaLota has kept in that tradition in delivering for the East End. So good pick on head of the EPA. Can't wait to see what he does there.
All right, very nice. One of the next picks we're going to talk about who has been picked, and I thought this was actually a good pick. Where did she go? Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. I like that idea, bro.
So she's the what?
She's going to be the DNI, Director of National Intelligence. So okay. So the Director of National Intelligence, I'm going to just read this. Hold on. Mission and values. The core mission of the Office of the Director of National Intelligence is to lead the intelligence community in intelligence integration, forging a community that delivers the most insightful intelligence possible. That means effectively operating as a team, synchronizing collection, analysis, and counterintelligence so that they're fused. The mission is to lead IC by driving integration, collaboration, and innovation under a shared vision. This is a lot of jargon, bro.
A lot. I was just like, I almost just got lost. I ain't gonna lie to you.
There's a lot of jargon, bro. But the Director of National Intelligence is a key advisor on national intelligence issues to the president. Let's just keep it simple, stupid. How about that? There you go. But Tulsi Gabbard, I think, is a good pick because of her military service, her service in Congress, and her service on the Armed Services Committee. I just thought that was a solid pick for that. Then you've got, let me transition to this. You've got the Secretary of Homeland Security, Governor Kristi Noem. I like that idea as well.
I like that pick too. I can't say I'm mad at any of these picks. I really can't say I'm mad at. Now I was telling Heather this in the car. I was like, yo, if I was putting together a team, right, how would I rate the team that he just put together? What I think is going to happen for the future of the country, what I'm thinking is you've put together such a good team, such talented people, right? You got to admit it would be hard for things to go bad with these people there. These are like the grown-ups in the room now. Like, to me, it's like the grown-ups have entered the room. All right. So if our congressmen and our state senators and our senators can work together and we can get some things done, we can get this place set back on the right track. We can get this place going back in the right direction, because as it stands right now, and again, a lot of you guys feel the way we feel, so it's preaching to the choir, but the last 3.5 years has been absolutely a tough time. It's been absolutely a tough time. So hopefully we can get things back on the right track. Did we miss anybody? What else did we miss?
I think this is important. Mike Huckabee, Governor Huckabee, is going to be the U.S. ambassador to Israel.
I think that's a great pick. That was a good pick.
All right. Deputy Chief of Staff, I don't know. Oh, Stephen Miller got a spot. Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy and Homeland Security Advisor. Stephen Miller has been a loyal Trump guy, so I could see that. Communications Director Stephen Chung, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. I did not know that went down. And then hold on, let me see if this is true. Hold on, let me see if this is. Kash Patel was the former chief of staff to the United States Secretary of Defense, but from what I'm hearing, Kash Patel has been selected to be the next director of the FBI.
You mean
in North Carolina, and I'm live with the Urban Conservative.
You mean that guy?
That guy is likely to be the next director of the FBI. Now, here's the thing, right? You got to rebuild trust in the CIA, FBI, and the intelligence community. You have to rebuild trust. After the weaponization of government, if you've watched any of the hearings that went down in the U.S. House around the weaponization of government committee, those special committee hearings, it is not up for debate that faith and trust of the American people in our law enforcement, federal law enforcement agencies is at an all-time low. You heard what Dan Bongino had to say about the Secret Service and all of the failures during the Trump assassination attempt. You have to, for 1 second, be realistic and say that we need people that are going to go in and shake things up. And I think Kash Patel would put, I watched, bro, how people responded to him. I had an opportunity to spend some time with him. I watched how people responded to him. They respect him. And I think he'll do, like you talked about Tom Homan, bringing some sort of morale back to the agency. I think Kash Patel would do that same thing for the FBI.
Agreed.
All right. So White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt is who we got. Secretary of Energy Chris Wright. So there you have
Mr. Wright.
Interesting picks, right? Very, very interesting picks from the next president of the United States as it relates to his cabinet. Folks on the left are losing their absolute minds about it because he's picked people that I think are going to go in and shake things up, which is exactly what the American people wanted. Now, before we cut out of here, bro, I want to talk about one other thing before we cut out of here. We're going to be doing this event in Moore County on Wednesday where we've got people from the left, people from the right getting together to have a conversation.
Okay.
One of the clearest and I think most succinct acts of trying to bring the country together was President Trump offering to pay the Harris campaign's $20 million worth of debt. If that didn't show you that this is a guy that's really trying to bring the country together, that wants what's best for the country, what else can he do, bro?
He better than me, because I ain't finna give y'all that. I don't even, I understand. I ain't, as nasty as you been in them crazy ass commercials, and I don't know. God's still working on me. I ain't there yet. I ain't finna be paying your debt. He's still working with me, y'all. You got to bear with it, brother. I'm still trying to work it out. I ain't cut from that cloth yet. I ain't cut from, that's the presidential cloth. I ain't cut from that. 20 million? Nah, bro.
There you have it, bro. There you have it. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you think. Jump in the comment section. Let us know, is there a better pick, somebody else you'd like to see for office in the Trump cabinet that isn't in the cabinet that you'd like to see there? One thing, what do you think about this? They're saying, oh, he didn't appoint any black people. What do you think about that?
What?
Yo, I've heard that. I'm dealing with that right now. Yo, people are like, oh, Tim Scott and Byron Donalds, Uncle Tom'd out, and they didn't even get in the cabinet. And I'm like, you do realize Tim Scott is now running the National Republican Senate Committee, right? You do realize that.
This is the people that are not informed, right? And they think that these are jobs that need to be handed out to people. That's not how we pick people. He black, he got to give him the job because we got to have a black guy. We don't think like that on this side. We get the people that are best qualified for the position. If that means that it's not a black guy, or it's an Asian guy, or it is a black guy, I don't care about the name on the resume. I care about what's on the resume. I don't care about the body that shows up. Now, if there's some type of physical requirement, which I understand, there's some type of jobs where they don't want you walking in all fat and slovenly, and you can't knock somebody for that if they have a presentation aspect to their their business or whatever. But I think it's an insane idea to be like, there ain't no black people. Like, didn't y'all just this is the problem with the left. They don't realize how out of touch that sentiment is with the American people, who just told y'all we tired of that. We tired. We don't care. Hey, he didn't hire any transgenders. So what? So what?
Certified. I don't care.
He didn't hire any people with one arm.
I mean, but look, technically, Marco Rubio's Hold on. Marco Rubio's Cuban. Cash
He didn't
Patel's.
hire any little people.
Every
group could have an argument. How many of these people are openly gay?
How many amputees does he have? You got a point. You can just go. The list goes on and on. Does he have any Universalist Unitarians? What, bro?
Oh, he didn't pick anybody that only eats yellow corn.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been rocking out with the Urban Conservative Podcast on a Monday night. Again, get in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Did he pick the right cabinet, folks? Is Matt Gaetz going to get confirmed? Are you going to run up against some rhinoism in the Senate when it comes time to confirm these folks? Let us know what you think in the comments below. As always, go to tuconservative.com to support the Urban Conservative Podcast and platform. If you're a small business or a candidate that wants to help get the word out, reach out to us. We can help you do that here at the Urban Conservative. I'm Abdul Ali. That guy's my twin brother, Raheem Architect Soto. We'll catch y'all on the next version of the podcast.